Okay, with a minute to go, we have the Townsville Heat versus the Brisbane Capitals. And looking like a very, very good game tonight. Townsville looking to capitalise on their wins. And for Townsville, I would expect to see the continued good form of Harry Froling, Jordan Jet, who's been away for a little while, and of course would expect them to be big on the boards. Brisbane don't look particularly big. I'm now joined by Mike St. Moritz. It's Shane Froling calling one side of the game, with Mike calling the other, getting a rather good win with the ladies team. It was an ugly game.
Yes, we escaped with that one, didn't we?
Yeah, right up until the last 3 or 4 minutes, and you certainly looked very, very good in overtime. So that's when it matters, but let's hope this one doesn't go to overtime and it's a good clean-up.
So what I've been told about the Brisbane men is that they're an exciting bunch themselves. It looks like it's Carter, Wilson, who else is starting here? Anderson, Davis, and Conrad. Now, which one of these bald-headed gentlemen is the head coach? They're both brothers, I'm told. One is the head coach, the other one's the assistant. I don't know who's who. Anyhow, that doesn't matter.
Okay, for Tarrant brothers, Michael Tarrant. The head coach is Jeff Tarrant.
Jeff Tarrant,
So,
all right.
Michael Tarrant used to live in the Brisbane Stadium grandstands.
Oh.
He was a cleaner there many years ago. So,
right.
But we see a missed jump here, and the referees decide to jump it up again.
Matthew White with his start again this week. I guess as they reintroduce Jordair to the group. Actually, it looks like Jordair's in street clothes tonight.
Okay, well maybe he's injured or he didn't get back in time. He's jet lagged. They might be deciding to rest him.
Possibly. I walked by their training last night, and he was in street clothes there. I assume that was a jet lag issue. As Harry Froling opens the scoring account for Townsville with the corner three.
Yeah, he's not very hesitant, so he's aggressive with those shots. As we see down the other end, Tim Conrad, a well-known NBL name, just make an easy bucket.
That's a great get for Brisbane, I'm told. He's an unrestricted NBL player, so for them to be able to have added them middle of the year to their core group has got to be a win for the Capitals.
Yeah, very skilled player and a very, very hard worker. So see Peter Crawford has the duties on him. I would expect to see him try and post Peter Crawford up a little bit. And
correct me if I'm wrong, Shane, this is not Conrad's first go-around in the QBL. Did he play for Rockhampton a few years ago?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
And again, like most players today, they like to have a bit of a run with the minor league teams in the off-season.
Yeah, yeah.
Keeps them in shape and enjoyable, and they can have a bit more fun in those games rather than be as disciplined as NBL. Wilshire refuses the screen and drives into trouble, but cleverly throws it off Wilson's legs out of bounds.
I didn't do my homework before the game. The Capitals, I'm told, are in playoff contention. I'm just not sure what it means for them for the road double. They'll be in Cairns tomorrow night. What are the potential outcomes here should they be able to get a win in Townsville? As Harry takes a step-back three, long off the back of the iron. Anderson tips it out, but Baker comes up with it.
Yeah, you would think Brisbane need to win this. They're sitting 5th on the ladder. So we see White shoot a three in the corner. Didn't go. Peter Crawford, unfortunately, tapped it out of bounds. Yeah, so Brisbane's sitting 5th on the ladder.
Okay.
They obviously want to get these wins.
Can they get top 4 of that? So they're at 9-6. So I suppose 2 wins. Looks like they'd catch up to 11 wins that USC has. So it's good that at this point in the year that the teams are still playing for something.
Absolutely. As White takes the fake, Harry Froling cleans up the boards, kicks it ahead to Wilshire, who had a standout game last week, drives against 2 players and makes the basket.
Great touch at the rim for such a little dude.
Yeah, I can be critical of him forcing that, and that was a forced one, but when it comes off, you've got nothing to argue about. Wilson throws a bad one. There's Crawford early. unfortunately misses. Harry Froling with a clever little scoop pass
and the
behind.
end one.
Yeah, Harry rebounds that, instantly flips it behind his head to inside to his partner in the post, who makes the bucket.
Tarrant was up, waving his arms around. I'm not sure if he was upset with his players or with the call.
Yeah, it was a you know, probably a soft touch, but definitely enough contact to send Baker to the line. So Baker makes sure he makes the basket. We have a 7-4 game. Harry keeps it alive to Baker again.
A big flush.
Dunks it.
As he stares at the bench. Good start here for Townsville, as opposed to the women's game.
Yeah, that's you know, I talk about it to my young kids that I coach, and I say if you can't get the rebound, at least tip it to one of your players. And no one was on Baker; they're all busy concentrating on Harry.
Right.
Baker just comes in and flushes it. He was so open.
Baker got called for the foul there. He was arguing it should have been a travel. Oh, Conrad stepped out of bounds there.
He gives a thumbs up, no argument. So he's learnt very quickly how to satisfy referees.
Yes, right. It looks like he's got a height advantage on JB. Their other big unit here is that nope, that's Carter, considerably smaller than Harry, but not as small as some of the other teams that we've seen come through visiting teams. So if Brisbane can match it inside, they've got a chance here.
Yeah, you look at Conrad, he's physically strong, you know, he's got man muscle, he's smart, he's a hustle player.
He's experienced too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to get some buckets. It's just whether the rest of the team come along with him as he takes a step back.
They didn't account for the little dude.
Yeah, rebound by the smallest guy in the court.
Can't convert. Harry brings it up. 4-on-2. Oh, he hit Baker on the hand, but a lot of zing on that pass. He couldn't control it. Towns will turn it over. Conrad with the corner three here. Long. This ball is just not sticking in anyone's hands here. And the shooting percentages are probably down early.
A little bit like the Flames game earlier.
Jesus.
Huh?
Yeah, well. Certainly didn't play with much confidence, and somehow at the end it finished 100-96. But we'll have to watch the video to see how that unfolded.
Yeah, there was some very easy misses, we'll say, but that has been a bit of a game of recent. But you know what? You came good when it mattered, and I'm expecting the same with the men's team. You know, they're not going to miss forever. Some of these guys like Wilshire get their eye in. Crawford, if he gets his eye in, of course, Harry Froling, they'll start to attract a lot of attention, which gets your other players are wide open.
Conrad converts the end one there, cuts the lead to 2 for Townsville. We've had a substitution. Ethan Betts is checked in for Matthew White.
Yeah, White was never, ever physically going to be able to deal with that drive. Harry Froling on the spin. Nearly turns it over.
Betsy collects the scraps.
Betsy's had a good couple of weeks, you know. His penetration ability and finish around the rim is fantastic.
Oh, geez. Tipped around, no one can convert the easy one, so they'll take the long three instead, and Carter buries the triple. Froling and Betts, I believe, long-time juniors, same age. Oh, as Harry backs his man down, who falls inside. Throws it off the glass, hits nothing. Yeah, bit of a rush shot there.
Yeah, he probably didn't get hit early on that. He needed to make a bigger presence, as you see Carter shoot another one.
Bit of a heat check there for Carter.
And then the help came, so he did end up forcing that up. Yeah, Betts and Froling since under 14.
Since
so
under 14s, right? Oh, PC wide open. He buries it that time. Brisbane really want to get up and down, don't they?
Yeah. Geez, they've missed some easy layups. Townsville are fortunate that they're not going down.
Yeah, that was wide open, off the right hand. Not a big man inside as they leave Wiltshire wide open. Can't convert that time. They leak a man out. Wiltshire's in trouble here. They're going to call the blocking foul on Betts before the act of shooting. Oh, Rod Anderson is up in arms. He's not happy with that one.
If he's picked up his dribble, it's going to be 2 shots. And we see Reese coming in to the game, and he'll add a good presence, giving Justin Baker a breather, but certainly nice bringing a 6'10" fella onto the floor.
No, it's going to be Brisbane baseline. Very clear with his instruction that it was on the floor. Oh, Conrad easily gets past Betsy.
Yeah, and Conrad missing a couple, you know, it's he's probably had a good break between NBL and coming in midway, so probably still finding a bit of touch and form back, but geez, what a competitor.
Has he signed yet in the NBL, or is he still chasing a contract? Do you know?
I really don't know. Really don't know, to be honest. Smart screen by Conrad gets his teammate wide open. Betts comes up with a rebound.
Got a new big man out there at the moment, Collar. I hope I'm saying that right. Nelson Collar.
Brisbane right now are absolutely running this thing down Townsville's throat.
Will the ball explode if they don't get rid of it within 6 seconds? That's what it feels like with the Caps. You know, that they really want to play quick. They're happy to take some early action.
I guess that's how they think they're going to compete with Townsville, is run it at them, but can they do it for the whole game?
They find Betts inside. He's double teamed. Move it around the perimeter. Get it to Marty with a size advantage. Back to Wilch. Step back. Oh, that was a forced shot there.
That's a forced shot, especially when you got players on the perimeter open. He needs to make that extra pass.
And what he was really good at last week, and I watched a bit of their games, was keeping his dribble alive, his hesitation, and then mixing it up and that change of speed and getting to the rim. Keegan unable to contain Tim Conrad there, blows another wide open layup.
Betts wanting to run it down.
Turn on the Jets.
Didn't he take it at them, and he's drawn the foul. Geez, he had another gear there. He just really took off, and no one in the team came with him. Brisbane, I thought close to blocking that, but they called body contact down this end on White, so doing it the other end, all you can ask is consistency.
Carter will check back in here. Conrad will sit down.
And Betts, again, watching him the last few weeks, he has been brilliant at getting to the rim, you know. And I think he might have had a career high last weekend.
Oh, did he? Right. Rocky, all right. Well, that shot's a bit flat, but it goes in.
It's probably something to do with the hair that hangs in his eyes. He can't see above the rim.
He's really worked on his body, though. He looks like a young, strong, you know, that I guess he's trying to crack it at this level. I know he's been playing in the States.
Yeah, I think the opportunity in the States has really helped him. He's enjoying life over in Oregon, and you know, he's competing with 1 million guards in that country who are all strong.
Yep, right.
So he's got to learn to play with speed, strength, and he's got a lot more composed. He's doing really well.
Oh, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Unusual position for the Caps to be in. 5.
And that's a tough shot. Marty has a hand right in his face.
Good defense from Townsville there.
You know, I watched Marty make a big, strong post up down here on the strong side before the ball gets reversed. They don't even look at him. You know, it's got to be frustrating for him, you know, as a former big man.
Yeah.
You do this hard work.
Who was often ignored on offense.
Yeah, absolutely. But you get one-on-one in the post, give him a look. And that's where you want 6'10".
Well, you know, I completely agree. We talked about it in the women's game too, about looking to get some post touches, and yes, we want them from Darcy, but you know, we want them from every big. We want to be able to collapse the D and then force some long closeouts.
Absolutely.
Crowd a bit flat here tonight. We're competing with a Cowboys game that's in town.
Keegan Chudhope drives to the bucket. Caught on his back foot a little bit there. And there's a kick out to Harry. That's not on target. Harry's missed a couple. Ethan Betts with the pick up. Unfortunately misses.
Couldn't get it over that length, those Brisbane big guys inside. Minute 50 left here. Unusually low scoring affair. Oh, and again, dribble penetration seems to be a thing that Townsville is unable to contain tonight.
Yeah, defense has been lacking.
We've seen a lot of missed wide open layups. The score would be a lot different if even half of those had been converted. Get the switch there. Harry's got the little guy inside, but Wilch takes the triple. Marty collects the offensive rebound.
Yeah, Harry draws out attention, and that leaves wide open.
That was a great find. Yeah. He was hoping to get it through the reversal from Betts, but Keegan figured there was such a size advantage, he could just get it straight to him and let Harry go to work.
Yeah, when you got the likes of Marty and Harry in the paint there, they definitely will attract attention down there. So your perimeter shooters are going to be open, so there's no problem hitting that. It's when they're one-on-one, you want them to get the ball like he was just down. And as we say that, goes into Big Marty, and that's exactly what we're talking about.
The little guy, I'm not sure who he is, but it looks like he undercut, came underneath Marty there on the catch, and he'll pick up the foul. As Rees heads to the line shooting 2.
Seb Windsor is number 5.
Oh, sorry, did I say 5? I meant 6. 5 is just checked in. Oh boy.
Okay,
6
Anthony
is Kopsikis. Kopsikis?
Kapocus.
One of us is way off on this one.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm right or not.
Or Kopchicus. Depends what country that pronunciation's from. Reese makes the first with the score at 19-15. And the second, giving them a 5-point lead with 50 seconds to go. I think you'll see Brisbane really try and push it down their throat early, but how long will they be able to keep that going?
That shot had 0 chance of going in. Matty is about 6'9", 6'10", and number 5 isn't. So Townsville, they won't get the last shot, but they're looking to set something up. They'll get a JB fake triple. Keegan drives baseline. 5 on the shot clock. Wilch is in trouble, but finds Marty. A rainbow shot.
Probably no need to call that.
I'm not sure why they called the shot clock violation. Brisbane had the ball. Fast team looking to run. They'll get it from the side with 9.6. Trailing by 5.
That's probably not the greatest foul to give, but I guess Keegan's got one to give, and it's not at the foul line, so he wasted a couple of seconds. But again, Brisbane not even hesitating. They wanted to run that thing straight at him.
Conrad checks back in here for the last possession.
Yeah, I think
Wilch will get a breather.
Conrad's in for a reason. They're definitely going to him to score, I would suggest.
Scully, the defensive specialist. They're going to call a foul on Keegan Judo.
Jeez, that was a tough one, that.
He sold that one.
Both players made contact. That's,
he did a barrel roll there over himself.
You could see Scott, he was in 2 minds about calling that. But you know.
I suppose something needed to be called.
So much contact, who do you give the benefit of the doubt to?
Oh, defensive subs check back in. So that gives Brendan McCauley, I think, less than 1 second of game time so far. Might not need a shower if that's all he sees tonight. Oh, not the most textbook of free throw actions there, but it goes in. Maybe from the Bill Cartwright school of shooting.
I'm not sure that Wiltshire had much urgency in that, pushing it up the floor, but we'll see the scores at 20-16. Not the greatest quarter, missing both teams missing a lot of shots.
It certainly feels flat, doesn't it? Like I said, the crowd was flat, but the play has been flat too. Yeah. Missed, wide open layups. Like we're rushing it down the floor, but I'm not sure that Brisbane is getting the shots that they want.
And both teams at the moment, defense, well, I think both of them think defense is a thing that surrounds your house because it's certainly not the defensive man-to-man or zone stuff that you'd like to see in a game. Hopefully that can improve for Townsville in the next quarter. Again, I think they definitely have a height advantage here, and I'd like to see that thing get pumped inside more. The bonus of that being if they attract attention, your perimeter shooters are going to get up.
Yeah. They're certainly lacking Jordaire's explosiveness, probably on both ends. Being able to contain some of that dribble penetration that's been working for Brisbane early on, and maybe down the other end in terms of, through a ball reversal, him being able to get to the rack and generate a layup or some contact or an extra possession. But, they're star-studded enough to be able to get by without him. So,
and for me, Betts comes out aggressive. I really like that. For Harry Froling, he's missed about 3 or 4 3-pointers. So I'd like to see him get his inside game going a little more.
Yeah, he's 2 of 7 so far. So, and of those 7 shots, 5 have been threes. So,
and again, Wiltshire is he's forced a couple up. I like to see him move it a little bit more. And you know what? I think we can get Peter Crawford the ball a lot more. He's such a good shooter that. Yeah, there's times we should be looking to go at that.
The live stats seem to be different to what we're seeing here in the stadium. We're showing a score of 20-16. As I look at the live stats at the end of that quarter, it's showing 18-15. So we'll go by what we're seeing in the stadium, but if you're following along with the live stats, it might be incorrect as well. JB gets a touch and out to PC for a pretty wide open 3, and that's a high percentage shot for Townsville, and PC buries it.
He changes the game if he starts doing that. And you see him wind back the clock with an almost steal.
He got a deflection there.
Yeah.
First of the year, I reckon.
But then he has a blow by.
Well, he had a chase down block against Rockhampton, so maybe he was trying to do that again this week.
I do believe one of his favourite songs is Blue by You.
Oh, there's the extra. Betts penetrates off the right hand. He gets blocked. Nice. Throws it off JB. Oh, PC is left wide open.
Funny.
A bit of a breakdown there again. And now he's heating up.
PC with a quick 9 points in the first quarter and a bit.
That takes the lead out to 26-18. Oh, and here's another layup. That was possibly a foul that went uncalled.
That was a seniority clause, Peter Crawford there. And again, Wiltshire just forcing that up. He's got to.
And he's not getting back on D there, so you can be upset with the referees, but you better help your teammates who are trying to cover, as doesn't get punished that time, but easily could have.
Yeah, he's so much better when he's moving that ball early, but going 1 on 3 and forcing a lean back, well, you better finish it. And again, I talk about in that penetration, you draw so much attention.
Yep.
You got 3 players around you.
Yep.
2 to 3 players.
Well, it looks
Peter
like he had
Crawford,
at least 2. Yeah, you're right.
Peter Crawford has just nailed 2 threes.
Yeah.
Look for that.
Yeah. As the point guard, you'd think that would be an almost automatic.
Yeah.
Your star shooters hit 2 threes to open the quarter in the first 90 seconds. Let's see if he has another one. Let's make it 3 in a row.
So the action's good, the penetration's good, but decision making on the shot.
Doesn't seem to be much talk and activity level on the defensive end for Townsville.
Conrad cleans up a loose ball there and just instantly puts it up. So that's experience right there.
That cuts the Townsville run there. And, Betsy off the right hand. He gets hit on the head that time. He'll go to the line shooting 1. Bets
and penetration. If you are playing him, you can expect him to get to that rim quick. He's really got a great first step and burst of speed, and you know, he is strong. He's not a lightweight guard, and that's going to help him go places.
Wiltz checks out in frustration there, and Scully's left to give himself a high five as he checks in. He'll get more than a second tonight. Congratulations, Brendan.
Really good defense there by Betsy, and watching Carter now come off. Baker's just totally lost him.
Yes.
Carter will shoot.
That double pin down left him wide open. He couldn't convert that time.
Harry Froling throws a very dangerous
cross
court. The most dangerous pass if you're going to throw it.
Yeah.
Put some heat on it, but luckily enough comes back to Townsville.
Well, half of the blue crew are here tonight. They're trying to get the crowd going.
Harry Froling decides to drive, misses another bucket, gets a rebound, gets Carter up, and makes the two. So I think he wisely has decided that, hey, the three's not dropping yet, I will go to the bucket. So he's either listening to me or he's very well educated.
Right. Well, speaking of people listening to us, John Guarna from Nothing But Net Media has sent me some information here. Tim Conrad is signed with Wollongong, so we'll be playing in the NBL again with them this year.
Under Rob Beveridge, one of the greatest coaches in the NBL, and I've got a lot of time for him, even though he's an unfortunate red-headed gentleman.
Well, you make deals with the devil, that's what happens.
Harry Froling misses an easy one. It's a great pass by Baker. He should have put that down, but didn't drop for him.
Anderson off the left hand, collects nothing but the side of the backboard that time. Here's PC off the left hand to JB. Middle of the floor.
And Betts on the drive, hits Harry Froling for Peter Crawford.
Great extra pass. A little bit slow, though. He had two guys closing out, but Harry collects the miss.
They're definitely concerned, Harry, having 2-3 players on him. He finds Peter
A
Crawford.
Great cut. You know, 33-year-old Peter Crawford makes that. 38-year-old Peter Crawford, not so much.
Yeah, those legs kind of left him, didn't they?
Yeah.
He had some old man legs.
And he's played some big minutes here. It just feels like that, maybe. Maybe with PC, it just feels like big minutes. Speaking
Sloppy
of which,
pass there, and Pete had a couple of them last
I think
week.
Rod's going to want a timeout here.
Great defense by Betsy there.
Gotta
Keeps his
stop.
arms up and wears that on the chest. Good kick ahead to Harry Froling.
Oh, behind the back.
Throws it. Luckily to Ethan Betts.
They just need to settle, get something good. Oh,
Jeez,
moving screen.
I don't agree with that. I'm sorry, but you know, Scully's there for a reason. He's a defender.
Yeah.
He's a physical player. That wasn't a bad screen.
No, I know, and it seems obligatory that they call that one almost every time. I thought Townsville wanted a timeout, but in fact it's Brisbane who want to talk it over. They trail by 9 with 6 minutes left here in the first half. Oh.
Yeah, and the younger brother, Michael Tarrant, doing a lot of the talking there, and
you can tell the two apart. How can you tell the two apart?
I've known them for a long, long time.
All right, okay.
They both.
I guess in the experience of having twins, you know, telling people apart.
Well, they're not actually twins.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, you know, like that's a skill you have.
Yeah. They both are unfortunate gentlemen in having to part their hair in a circle. But have been around the game for a long, long time,
Sure.
and a lot of knowledge in there, and quite emotional and aggressive at times, which I don't mind.
Well, everyone looks engaged in that timeout as I look down at it. There's no one's eyes who are averted from whatever he's talking about.
There was many a days where I saw Mick cleaning the floors, where I thought he was going to tear someone's head off for walking across his newly mopped floors. And
I think he still does it. We traveled to Brisbane last year, and one of these guys, whichever one it was, had one of those power washers there. So
don't walk on his floor; he will throw punches.
Oh, right. Well, and he's bigger than me, so I'll avoid him when we travel back down to Brisbane next year.
Good man, good man. Townsville in a 1-2-2 half-court press here, but leave the middle wide open. Conrad luckily misses by the kick out of Carter.
That's the weakness of that 1-2-2, isn't it? That middle, coverage. Who's going to be able to take responsibility for it?
Townsville run a horn set here.
Oh, they find Harry inside.
Nice.
Great look from JB. Some high-low there.
That'll pick his percentages up in and around the rim. Now, Townsville certainly got to take 6'11", 6'10", and 6'8" in their bigs and punish Brisbane with that.
Here's an Aaron Anderson triple.
Now on the flip side, he looks like he could play in my under-15 team. I could suit him up.
Well, I've seen your under-15 team, and he could be a center in that team. So, but they did very well this year, didn't they?
They did for a second division team to make 2 grand finals.
Well, they're lucky to have you as a coach.
We'll win it this year.
Townsville turns the ball over there.
Conrad.
Oh,
no
in transition, pull up 3. Oh, a battle of the little fellas. Brisbane gets the rebound there. Oh, they close 2 of them. Oh, JB with a big block inside.
Like I said, not in my house today.
There was probably an extra pass to be had somewhere, given Harry and Josh had closed out on that shooter.
Yeah, Brisbane has slowed down a little bit now. That fatigue's coming in as Baker shoots.
It goes in, but not my favorite shot. A long fadeaway too with your heels on that under 14 3-point line. Low percentage.
You can move any direction as long as that elbow is aimed straight at the ring. You got a good chance. Can't tell you how many times I've seen good players shoot strange shots, but they keep the elbow straight.
Right.
There, Harry Froling sleeping, and Conrad comes in and tips it away from him. Every team wants a Conrad. That guy who's going to get out, hustle, bust it, do everything they can to get the ball. And they don't get rewarded enough for the work they've done.
Well, worth their weight in gold in the QBL if they're unrestricted. That you can bring in 2 imports and get a Tim Conrad to complement them is Brisbane answers. They trail by 11 here. I think the live stats have caught up with that score. Harry doesn't find anything and picks up a cheap frustration foul there.
Yeah, he's really struggling to finish tonight, so he needs to focus a little more and finish it up. He'll take a quick break. I think the coaches have seen that he's a little frustrated out there, so we see Todd Jackson come into the game.
Jackson Todd. Yeah, I know. These people with
2 first names.
With 2 first names, they're just out there to trip us up. Good energy big for Townsville, a luxury for them to have as as I try to pay him a compliment, as their 4th big, but he draws the blocking foul there.
Wilson didn't have that ball in his hands for a quarter of a second. He just dropped and attacked straight away and drew the foul.
Rod Anderson not happy with that foul call. Townsville, I believe, took that timeout. Both teams now with a timeout apiece. 3:26 left here in the first half.
9-point lead is clearly not enough. They look like they're going to sneak it out early in this quarter, but they've slowed down a little again, and it's some of those sloppy, not finishing type plays.
A bit of controversy I was made aware of in the women's game. Overtime is 5 minutes.
Yes, I was intrigued that it was a 3-minute quarter,
Yeah.
so I don't know who made that call.
Well, it was one of the referees because the score bench had it right. We as a coaching group thought it was 5 minutes, and then with, I don't know, something like 40 seconds into that extra time, the referee came over and said adjust it to 3. So unfortunate that in such an important game, certainly for us, that it might end with some degree of controversy. So I'm not sure what's going to come out of that.
You would think a very senior official like Tom Jones.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did seem bizarre. I didn't say anything about it. But
3 minutes is junior basketball.
I thought there must have been some sort of.
It's one of those rule
for
changes
it.
that could have happened that you don't hear about, but we were surprised by it. But anyhow,
anyway, if you had 5 minutes, you might have won by 10.
Well, would have helped our scoring
It
averages.
certainly came to life with Mueller and
Darcy. Yeah.
Ben Wilson, another solid Queensland junior with good shooting form.
Have you coached him as well, or?
I've been lucky enough to coach him back in the day, yes.
Sure.
QAS athlete.
Okay.
And, yeah, went away to college for a little while.
That cuts the lead to 8 here for Townsville. Shoot over the ball as Brisbane's gone to the zone. 4 on the shot clock. Scully
with a
gets
little,
hammered from behind.
That was reminiscent of a little rugby league fake pass and take a underhand scoop, but he'll go to the foul line.
Brendan McCulley, another QAS student as well. You would have coached him.
I did.
40 years ago, 50 years ago, I think it was.
Selected him in a state team simply for the fact that he would terrorise you, chew your ankles off, and leave you bare boned.
Right. And he's made a career in the QBL of that. I'm not sure how many games he has, and I'm going to get it wrong, but it's over 250. So a great career from Brendan McCulley. Buries both.
And a guy who doesn't fuss and bother if he doesn't get the big minutes. I'm sure he'd love more, but
that's an important veteran.
See a lot of standing on defense, hands down, you know.
Yeah, fatigue. I mean, Fridays are difficult games. Certainly for the working, as Tim Conrad buries the short corner jumper. For those who work to come into the stadium on a Friday, we spoke about this a few games ago, where it's almost better to be on the road, where you get into a bit of a basketball role of you get a shoot around in the morning and then rest in the afternoon, you play at night. But for those people who are working, it's tough to find a rhythm to finish work and show up at the stadium.
It is. And Baker's getting a warning for disputing the call, but Brisbane have junked it up there with a 1-2-2. Townsville didn't see the opportunity to punch it in the middle and eventually got it to the weak side, but if they show that again, better get someone in the middle. Anderson pushes it up very aggressively.
He is so quick.
Keegan Chudhope's got the job on Conrad, so again, two hard workers, but Conrad clearly very smart. Trying to get advantage. Great D by Chudhope. You see him keep the hand straight up there and not interfere.
Keegan, who's celebrating his 30th birthday, I believe.
There's Baker in the middle. No, yes, we get it to him.
Wide open. Yeah. Well, that's that vulnerable spot. If none of the guards are going to step up to guard that one. Here's Conrad off the right hand to Anderson in the corner. Triple is no good. Rebound to Brisbane, though.
Cannot let him have that. Happened a lot in the girls' game, too. Too many offensive boards. But you guys clearly dominated the boards, hopefully.
I think so. I think there was a big advantage on the old boards for us. Thank God. Here's Townsville on the break.
There's Wilshire penetrating nicely that time, one-on-one.
Draws the foul.
Yeah, again, you could have absolutely smashed them with a couple of blockouts there, but they got a few easy rebounds. But again, you adjusted that and finished your game well. Now, with these guys, there is no reason at all, none at all, that they shouldn't absolutely dominate the boards. No. As we see both Rees and Froling check back in.
A lot of yelling from the fans. Can't really hear what they're saying.
Something about the women's game is over. Stop reffing the women's game. But
right.
I thought the women's game was actually quite physical.
I did too. I thought Brisbane did a really good job.
Harry Froling keeps straight up, but Conrad.
Great finish with the left hand, high off the glass. Negates the size advantage. Veteran move.
Assistant with a 1-2-2. Wilshire shoots up the three. Harry Froling attempting.
Great activity on the glass, though. That's what you were talking about around. Get a tip, get inside, create another opportunity, if not for yourself, then for someone else on your team.
And then you see a guy like McCulley.
Great feet inside. Yeah. Scully to Marty Rees. That's about 600 QBL games between the two.
And they're the things McCulley does. Gets in for that tip-off Harry, cleans the rebound up, makes a great assist, you know. He's not the greatest shooter in the world, but definitely take his effort.
Got beat baseline, didn't get punished. And Townsville will have the last shot here with 10 seconds on the game clock. Two, oh, he forced, oh! Did they get it off? Oh, he missed it anyways, so there's not going to be any controversy about it anyways.
I was just about to say he's over-dribbling it, so he got it. He should have made that shot, but a second or two earlier might have put him under less pressure.
Someone's put some Glad wrap maybe over these rims. Maybe that's what's going on.
Yes, I did call that in your game, but nonetheless, the score is 43-31. For me, it's a lower scoring game for Townsville. I would say their percentages are down. Brisbane have achieved what they wanted in running it down their throats early. They also are not shooting too well. And again, both teams defensively, gosh, I really, really would like to see better out of both of them.
Well, if the Caps are the underdogs coming into this, they'd probably be okay with a 12-point deficit. They might want to talk about the looks that they've gotten if they converted them at an adequate rate, at a rate that you would expect where wide open layups off the right hand at the QBL. If they keep hunting those opportunities, that they'll get themselves back into this game. And at the rate that they play, the amount of possessions, a 12-point deficit is nothing for Brisbane.
And if I'm Rodney, I'm going in. If I see that 1-2-2 again, I'm going to absolutely punish the heck out of it. So I'd go and address that.
Yep.
I would address my rotations, one containing your man, and a lot of guys standing upright and turning on their inside foot rather than that hard drop step slide, cover your man. And then again, just put the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And maybe some of that laziness on defense you spoke about, hands down at a stance, just hoping that someone else is going to get the job done rather than a collective unit of five, occupying as much space as they can.
And that's the difference between NBL level players and this level. And it's in the NBL, if you've got your hands down by your hips and you stand, a guy will put that up over you in a second.
Right.
Same in WNBL. You've got players that are going to go, whoosh, it's gone. So, it's something they'll have to work on, make the defense better, and we'll go into half-time with both teams not shooting well, not playing great defense.
No.
We'll see what happens in the next half.
Yeah, we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time.
Okay, welcome back to the second half of the game. Coming in with a heat leading 43 to 31. For my liking, Comrade with Brisbane is the only man going to work out there with 11 points. He's going to need some help from the likes of Wilson and Carter. They've got to really come along and help. They're pretty shallow without them performing. And for Townsville, Peter Crawford was on fire with 3 quick threes, and then we see nothing from him. So I'd like to see him come to life a little bit more. Some really, really good minutes off Ethan Betts, being solid and contributing by both getting to the rim and distributing and coming up with a few boards. So very interesting to see what happens in this half. And watching the Brisbane coaches, they're certainly into it and trying to motivate their team, and we'll see what they come up with. And I've just noticed that the world famous Mick Tarrant, assistant coach, has got his headphones on, so I don't know if he's landing planes or if he's got someone secretly telling him messages with headphones.
Maybe he's listening to us.
He could be listening to us.
Give us a wave if you're listening to us.
He's put them around his neck.
Oh, he's putting them away. Okay.
He just took them off. So
all right, okay.
Must have been a bit of mellow halftime music.
Well, no Townsville players in double-figure scoring. Baker's on 8, Frolling's on 9, as is PC. Betts off the bench with 7 from 3 shots is a handy contribution for them.
Harry Froling lets the drive go, but blocks it from behind. And we come down to see Wilshire come off a screen. Conrad really showing hard on that. Here's a mismatch, finds Peter Crawford. No, that'll be short. Baker gets the rebound, 1 on 4. 1 on 4, that's that size advantage, and Baker's the smallest of the big 3.
Yep, and that extends the Townsville lead out to 14. Brisbane seem intent here to run a lot more action than they did in the first half, where they were pinging away early. Similar result, though. They can't get a score that time as Crawford throws the ball away.
Yeah, look, I would expect to see Townsville, I hope, take a good 20-point lead plus.
Just as you say that, these scrappy teams, they answer right away, and that, equals the Townsville score this quarter. Cuts the lead to 12.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but this team is not of the depth that can compete with them if they do it properly.
Find Harry inside. Great high-low action again. As you mentioned, I assume we'll continue to see more of that.
Great defense there by Whitey, who
copped an elbow and lost a tooth. And he's bleeding profusely from the mouth. They probably need to stop the game. He's bleeding.
Yeah, none of the referees have seen it, so Whitey's continuing to play. And now they'll call the blood rule.
Yeah, well, the referee is arguing that he can't stop the play. But anyhow, he copped it in the mouth. He probably lost a tooth there. Anderson was checking his arm, so clearly he hit him with a forearm.
And I will not let any of my children play without a mouth guard. Now, in saying that, it looks like it was a bottom tooth. So.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah,
you've got good eyes then, eh?
You certainly can't help that. But,
you got those things over your eyes that help with good eyes.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Whitey, but courageous to keep playing. Very, very intelligent young man, getting brilliant marks at university.
Yes, well, and one day he could possibly operate on himself. I believe he's. Yeah. Oh, actually. He was going to study medicine. I'm not sure what he's studying right now. OP1 type.
And we have a timeout while I believe the blood kit will be used for the floor, because he definitely spilt some blood. And
there was a fair bit of it, wasn't it?
We know what that Burdekin blood's like. It's highly dangerous and
contagious.
We don't want anyone catching the Burdekin disease.
He's one of those great young kids. He's holding something in his mouth, some kind of gauze, to try to stop the bleeding at the moment. I can only imagine how much pain he must be in.
And great to see, you know, another kid, we'll call him local, even though he's from Burdekin.
Well, he played
family,
as a Townsville junior.
Yeah, and a family that has grown up around basketball all their lives. I can remember playing his father back in the day. And
I had the pleasure of coaching his daughter at under 16 national championships, and she was an absolute pleasure to be around.
So yeah, they are definitely a well-known family and very passionate. And my goodness, can't you hear Sandra?
Well, she's waltzing over. She's waltzing over to you know, to pay attention to her little baby boy here.
She's probably going over to tell him to toughen up. Get out on the floor, princess. Knowing Sandra. But no, great family and great to see him get his opportunity at this level. He's a little bit like the Queensland State League version of Nguyen from Adelaide 36ers.
Okay.
Was, doctor, a professor.
Oh, really? Right, okay.
NBL player. So, you know, Whitey could be that level.
There's a few professionals here on the Heat bench. Max Murray there is a qualified physiotherapist, part of that championship winning team last year.
And, you know, people like myself who are fortunate enough to go to that great educational institution in Collingwood, the Collingwood Education
School of Life.
We've got degrees. It only costs you $40 to get that degree forged. So I can have a number of degrees for the right price.
Dr. Froling.
As we get back to the game.
Townsville leads by 12 here. 7:57 left in the third quarter. Oh,
nice
Conrad,
look, nice look by Wilshire there to go to Harry, but
Conrad read it the whole time.
Absolutely.
Made it seem like he was going to be out of the play and he was going to let the pass go in, and on the flight of the ball, ducked in, tipped it away to himself.
And I've got to say, mate, Justin Baker is the candidate of the year for the eyebrow fake. Every time someone gives him a shot fake or raises their eyebrow,
wants to block that three, doesn't he?
He leaves his feet. And to me, you're not going to get that many blocks.
So they skipped Harry, and that was maybe not the best pass, given he was wide open at the rim. But you know, decisions are made in you know, real time, and it's easy for me to say up here that I had a great angle on it, but the shooter in the corner was also open.
Conrad puts another one over the top there. He's not intimidated by the length.
Back to
down
10.
To a 10-point game.
Well, you were talking about, you know, can Townsville get it to 20 here, and it felt like that early on, but Brisbane is, you know, sticking around. And like we stuck around against, you know, the women's team, and they were probably thinking, geez, we're going to get this out to 20 as well. JB finishes inside. Great penetration from Harry.
Really unselfish play there. And I think Baker's a wake-up. He knows that when Harry drives, he's going to be a chance of getting that receive. Much as Wilshire, when he's playing like that, can do also. So good to have smart players distributing the ball.
Oh, another eyebrow fake. Oh, shot clock expires there. Anderson doesn't get the shot off.
Yeah, for me, like, if Anderson's an import, I need more than 2 or 4 points or whatever he's given.
Yeah, he's been quiet, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm going to check the live stats here. 2 points from now 9 shots.
Yeah. And again, Conrad needs that help because he's a quality enough player to get it done, but he can't do it alone.
Well, Conrad's on 13 from 13, but no one else in double figures. Wilson's on 7. Carter's on 5. Carter started off the game pretty well. He hit that big 3. But they're going to need some a few more Chiefs.
You know, they're pretty lucky that Townsville aren't shooting as well as they could be. I think Townsville are in the 30% or high 30s, but you know, again, they're scrappy and they make you play scrappy. Baker's really moving well to the right spots, and Harry then found him again because they certainly are aware of Harry Froling trying to get in the paint there.
Can't convert on the second free throw. Brisbane ball.
Brisbane certainly have slowed the speed game down, so we'll see if that helps Townsville. Hands up, Mr. Baker.
Conrad.
Great intercept by Betts. And got him on the foul.
Yeah, and Wiltshire arguing they didn't play at the ball. And it's funny, that one, you know, like they've made it really black and white. If you don't play at the ball, it should be, you know, an intentional, unsportsmanlike foul, which we've spoken about not agreeing with, that, you know, fouls happen. But the way the interpretation should be that if you don't play at the ball, that's an unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah, I'd rather that call than unsportsmanlike. I'm happy with that. Harry Froling drives aggressively, finds Baker again.
Bit of a rim jam there, JB.
Baker is certainly very, very aware of the big hole that Harry creates. So that's smart basketball. Get to the spots.
Well, they've worked really well together. You know, like JB's found Harry inside, and Harry tried to return the favor there until he was fouled.
Harry puts up the three, keeping his head nice.
It looked contested, but the little Anderson, who's about 5'6", was nowhere near the ball, and pretty much an uncontested three. PC gets another deflection. Brisbane retains possession off the left hand. They're going to call a blocking foul.
That is a tough
I can
finish.
tell JB Justin is so frustrated with these types of fouls, these types of blocking fouls. To the referees' credit, they keep calling them week in and week out. They've been so consistent. This is how they're going to call the game.
Yes. And I think you'll find him coming out now. Picks up a couple of fouls. I think he's definitely very emotional. You see it, but he keeps his cool, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Great guy. It is his third foul, and there's no point in risking him at this point, especially when you've got a quality big guy like Matthew Rees who's able to come in. So, you know, I would expect JB to probably rest then for the rest of the quarter, or for a large part of this quarter, and then come back in the fourth.
Nice skip pass to Peter Crawford. Kicks it out,
Extra.
throws it in.
Great job.
Harry Froling for another three. And
there he's the triple.
I'm not going to take credit, but I did do the father-son thing and tell him when he shoots his threes not to tip his head back.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
he was tipping his head back, and now he's keeping it balanced.
Okay.
And, you know,
chin down.
it's working for him.
Right. Well, that was a great extra pass and some good ball movement there from the Townsville Heat. PC reaches in there and picks up the foul.
Yeah, you know what? That was a Conrad experience foul. That there,
he's milked the shooting foul then out of that as well.
Wow, that's a tough call.
Yeah.
No, that was on a swing around with the arm.
Absolutely, had no vision on the basket, but felt PC coming in and reach. You know, fooled Scott Brown into the call. And PC will check out. He's on. How many fouls on PC here? Oh. Actually, PC, that's his first, so.
He's just having an 8, so.
He probably needs a break. PC's still not happy with the call. He wants to talk it over. Not sure what that referee's name is.
I've got to say, Rodney Anderson has been very quiet tonight. Maybe it's the calming influence of one Claudia Brassard.
Yeah, well, maybe. I did see her pushing him away before when he wanted to get into referees, and he acquiesced.
Now don't go use some words at us, Colin.
Well, see, I wasn't going to say anything. Great Keegan judo triple.
Hey, that's what I like to see. Townsville boy who never shoots a three, nailing a three. And then he turns around and works his butt off on defense, trying to keep
great
Conrad
job
out
on
of the game.
Conrad. Keegan Shoot-Hope, a teacher by trade against an NBL professional, just doing a good job of trying to outwork him and make things difficult.
Great no-look pass for Betts. Wilshire, they're moving the ball very well right now. If he kicks it back to the other side, there should be mismatches everywhere. Penetration.
Betts doesn't really look shot ready as opposed to Harry, so Marty Rees collects the offensive rebound there.
Keegan, will he go for another?
Well, he's shown the hot hand. Wiltshire. Well, you can't keep a guy like that down for too long, and he buries a long, what, 26-footer there?
And he needed to. There's Betts again with another steal. He's going to go to the rim hard and score.
And I'm surprised Brisbane don't want to talk this over. They're gonna play through it, but the lead has gotten out to 20. Townsville has quickly exploded in the last 90 seconds or so and gotten a lot of good looks.
And again, you could see that coming. I mean, the only man working out there really is Conrad, and he needs some help.
And right on cue, he gets some help from Collar again. Hasn't played any big minutes, but that's his second shot. He's made both, so maybe they can expect more from him.
And Brisbane are really trying to slow that thing down with the press, but between Wilshire and Harry Froling, they're both heads up. They're well aware they're not going to get any steals out of it.
Yep.
They might waste 5 or 6 seconds, but these guys aren't being bothered by it.
Welch is going to get a breather here. They're hitting a triple.
As does Conrad down this end, and he's puffing. He's been working his butt off. So.
And that's the challenge for Brisbane, isn't it? That they, they come to play Townsville here on a Friday, but they've got to back up against Cairns tomorrow night. So it's not a scenario where you can just play your guy 40 minutes. And
that was the ugliest penetration flip shot I think I've ever seen.
Off the backboard. He called bank though. I could hear him from here.
And it went right through the middle off the glass.
Well, that guy just said, hold my beer if you want to see the ugliest shot competition. Airball, the wide open triple.
And the crowd lets him know it as Harry Froling brings the ball up the floor.
Keeps his pivot foot. Nah, sorry, Jeff Tarrant, that's incorrect.
He might have dragged it a little, but as I said, the Victorian referees never call that anymore.
Oh, Brendan McCulley.
Another
that looks pretty good. Oh, technical foul. She's had enough. He's barking the whole time, and he might get another one here.
Yes, Jeff very, very unhappy with that. He might have to get out McTarrant's headphones.
And, Coach, it's a bench technical, so one of the bald-headed dudes got it. But not the, maybe not the head coach, I'm not sure.
Okay. Let's not be discriminatory. We call it parting our hair in a circle.
Well, it's not the guy with the cash hairline. Pretty sure he's been quiet the whole time. Oh, Harry. Jackson Todd here set to check in, I assume for Harry.
If you're going to take foul shots, you better make them.
Well, a similar thing happened to me last week. Technical was assessed against the other team. Referee came to see me. Who's shooting the technical? Michaela Cox stepped in front of me and said, Mila Goodchild. So it just shows the level of respect that a dual Olympian has for an 18-year-old to say she can take him for us.
Ethan Betts looks poised with that ball, doesn't he?
Yep, that was great ball movement. And Marty Reeves with a long two. But Townsville right now has gone exclusively to the bench. All the local guys.
So 21 points up, and they've gone all the bench. And you see Carter take a running flip shot, goes down.
Yeah, well, they forced a tough shot out of that. And, these aren't young guys. They're veterans, and they'll move the ball around, make them work. They'll hunt for the best shot. Nope.
And Scully passes to
no
one. But luckily it was tapped out of bounds. You see another young man coming in, Fig.
Oh, Jared Fig.
The tallest of the Fig.
Straight from Splendor on the grass. I heard he had a great time.
Claims to be the postman of the Fig.
Oh. Marty gets blocked there. There's Brisbane on the run. Kick out triple. Can't convert. Jackson and Marty fight for the rebound, and Keegan has it to Figgy.
Brisbane persisting with its 1-2-2. There is someone wide open every time if we can just find them.
Scully with the long two. There's that fadeaway we were talking about.
And there's that postman Fig rebounding.
Doing a good job of occupying clock. Figgy will take the triple. No good that time.
some very ugly basketball right now. You see the quality players on the benches, and you can see it's not pretty, and you can bet that changes if it goes much further than 17 down.
Well, I would assume we'll come out in the fourth quarter here and probably see a lot of the starters return. Rodney would probably want to get on the front foot here about finishing in style and, getting his starters some quality minutes after a bit of a rest. But right now he's rewarding his bench. They do a good job week in and week out of testing the starters and making them work really hard in training. So.
I think I've said it before. I'm not a fan of just putting 5 bench players on.
True.
I think you give them support of a couple of good players.
Yeah.
Rotate through those
Good
two
players.
good players.
Do you mean? Are you suggesting these aren't good players?
When
Great offensive. Oh no, they're gonna say it's a foul.
I would say starters.
Sure.
Better players.
I'm just having a bit of a giggle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going in.
Never going to make it. All right, and we go into the final quarter with a Townsville Heat lead, 67 to 50. Brisbane are trying different things. They went back to that 1-2-2.
Yep.
A little bit of pressure up the floor. They're certainly fatiguing. Townsville were ugly themselves that quarter, and unfortunately, White losing a tooth.
Yes, I hope he's okay, actually.
So he has just joined the team again, but not the prettiest basketball from them right now. Best players, we saw Justin Baker getting some great baskets early. Got an extra foul, so he got to sit down.
You spoke about mixing up the starters on the bench. I've just been watching Rod there, so Harry will check back in, PC will check back in, and they'll be complemented by Figgy, Marty, and Keegan.
Yeah, and that just helps those guys because the so-called better players draw a lot of attention defensively. Gives everyone a look. For Brisbane, they are also going with their bench. It's going to sit on Conrad, They figured maybe they're going to rest him and get some more minutes out of him tomorrow night. But for me, he's the sort of guy who just keep playing and playing and playing.
Sure.
He's used to it. He's an NBL player.
So maybe he'll get maybe 2 minutes here to start the quarter. Someone else will fill in for him, and then an opportunity for him to come back in, give it a good shot. I mean, at the rate that these guys play, 17 is not too bad, but it's again that do I try to go for it all tonight and leave less in the tank against? I don't mean to be disrespectful to Cairns, but a team lower on the ladder and give themselves maybe a better shot with a rested group if they have a positional advantage to play for. But by the looks of the standings before, we think that they would have needed both wins to move up into the top 4. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. You got both. You got their import in Anderson, Wilson, and Conrad on the bench. So surely they are playing for tomorrow night, which I find bewildering. Peter Crawford has been quiet. Of course, Pete's had a few too many of those turnovers in the last couple
Costly
of weeks.
one, right? Yeah. 4-point swing there.
The forced bounce pass through the middle of the key, probably not the best option. As is that.
Figgy gets out of that one. That was a difficult position for him to be in.
There's the Peter Crawford we know. Boom, Harry Froling.
Just clutch to be able to, move on to the next play and not worry about the turnover that just happened. And, put Townsville back into a +1 situation from those 2 possessions.
And you talk to guys like Peter Crawford, and he says when he first made the Australian team, he's got Paddy Mills saying, I shoot 3,000 shots a day, and he puts up, and Peter's like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then he watches and he goes, wow, I'm not doing enough. And so he starts cranking, he's shooting up.
Yeah.
That's why
that is one of my favorite stories that I retell in terms of when you think your work ethic is on point and you find out someone who's working 5 times as hard as you. There's always someone working harder than you are. So never think that what you're doing is enough.
Yeah, he said it was a real eye-opener for him and changed the way he thought about practicing. 15-point lead to Townsville with 8.5 to go as Harry Froling shoots another 3, and it's long.
Keegan Chewhope generates another possession though for Townsville. Off the bounce, here's PC. That pass was never going to find hands. Justin Baker looks to set to check back in. Sorry, Shane.
Again, I'm watching Brisbane play. Their whole defense right now is collapse.
Yep.
Collapse, clog the middle. Don't let them have anything in there. And you know, for me, I got to get 2 big players in there. It might be Harry and Baker now. I got to get both of them in and keep them busy. And then my perimeter guys shooting. Now, if they miss, I got a chance of rebounding.
Sure. As they isolate here, JB on the perimeter. Tries to stay in front. Oh, PC gets burned on the backdoor cut.
And we're down to a 13-point game.
Well, you know, so we were talking about it before around, you know, holstering the gun. Tim Conrad's still on the bench. There's 7:45 left here in the game. Here's PC for the corner triple. That one's no good.
Again, I've got Harry Froling back behind the half. Peter shooting. That's 6.
Yeah, there was no one on the glass, was there?
He needs to be on the board.
I was just thinking Figgy's probably had extended minutes, and Josh Wiltshire is set to check back in here for Townsville. What a luxury is to have. Oh, he's got to keep his cool though. Harry bring up the ball.
Yeah, if he had his head up, he could have given that onto Peter Crawford there, but the intention was to draw the foul. And as we see Fig going off, and it was interesting seeing the 2 little number 1s go at it too, you know, it would have been a good little battle.
Yeah, true. I'm shorter. No, I'm shorter. No, I'm shorter. Oh, big dunk here. Nope.
No, nice pass by Peter Crawford. Nice carry around the rim where he should be at the moment if he's missing a couple.
Good finish though for Harry. Maybe in a few years' time with a bit more maturity, that finishes with a 2-handed flush.
Conrad, Baker doesn't even argue that. That was another smart foul. Conrad attacking his hip.
Is that 3 or 4 on JB?
That is foul number 4.
That is 4. So Rod's going to trust him here. He just put him back in.
Let him roll. Let him roll. I mean, if he fouls out, you've got big margin.
Well, that's right. You do have, you know, a bit of a margin to play with here, so it's comfortable territory, surely, for Rod Anderson.
I'll tell you what, he shoots that thing well behind his head. A little
Doesn't
bit
he?
reminiscent of Shane Hill. Get that thing up behind your head.
Oh, PC, another. We're going to have a timeout here come out.
And we're down to an 11-point game with 6 minutes, 37 to go.
Yeah. Well, you know, Brisbane are within striking distance. And, you know, just some of those lapses in decision-making from, I mean, I'm not going to blame just PC, but as a group, you know, like getting on the front foot, executing some offense, finding touches for your bigs, playing some of that high-low, taking a predictable shot and getting organized in D-trans is maybe some of the things that Rodney Anderson will be talking about here.
You know, one of the things I'd actually like to see in this last 6.5 minutes, because I think he's an energy guy, is Betts back in.
Okay,
I think he's solid with the ball. He creates things by penetrating. It'd be good to see him have a bit of a spurt here.
Yeah, well, maybe for Keegan Chewhope, who's probably, you know, played some extended minutes here, and maybe they'll finish with Betts. Betts had a big role when Whitey went out early on, so maybe that's someone they'll come back to. I would assume here Rod's going to try to look to put it away with his veterans. You know, the next 3 minutes will be crucial for them. If they manage to get that 11-point lead back out to 20, we might see some infusion of some youth. Otherwise, I would assume that he's going to have to ride his veterans. There's, you know, there's a rest day tomorrow. There's a rest day on Sunday. He'll train on Monday. So this win is super important to Townsville.
Bit of defensive pressure there by Brisbane. Really slowed it up that time.
Pretty handy to have your 6'11" guy be able to see out of that trap, though. Oh, great catch by Wiltshire. Not sure the shot was the best one, but
Hope lets him have that layup.
Leads to 9. Right? Here's
Really,
that trap
really
again.
aggressive trapping. If they move the ball, they'll be wide
Oh.
open.
They're going to say they put 2 hands in Harry's back.
Yeah, really, really being aggressive with that trap. You know what I'd love to see on that? Is a couple of pass fakes. Get them committing one side and then kicking it quickly the other, as we talk about.
I reckon this coaching thing, you could have some success with this. Did you not suggest that Ethan Betts should be a good substitution here? Keegan should hope as Betsy checks in.
Yeah, well, Betsy deserves it. He's been a quality player for the team in this half of the year, and I'm really impressed with the way he's improved, you know. There's a young man I made crying under 14, so he's
Well, it's character building. Oh.
Isn't that every coach's goal, to make kids cry or people vomit?
Well, as long as it's to their benefit, right?
That's
not to
right.
ours.
As Wilshire shoots
Left
a three,
wide
that should
open.
go.
Oh.
Unfortunate, that's the right shot though.
That is a good shot, isn't it? You know, like he's a great 3-point shooter. He's left wide open.
Look
Oh,
at that,
they're going to
Betts
say
again.
hit him. In
Nah, Betts, that's not on Betts. If he calls
that's
that
on
Betts,
PC, I reckon. Let's see.
Peter Crawford, okay. Betts,
Yeah.
again, I got to credit the kid. He's done a great job. He keeps his arms up.
Yeah,
So
they in
whatever
front, was
they're-
retreating.
Yeah, whatever they're doing at school with him, I've been impressed with.
He's at a junior college hoping to move to a different school, or?
I'm not exactly
Not
sure,
sure,
but
right.
yeah, he's enjoying Oregon and
Yep.
the chilliness and tax-free state in the USA. So
Well, while we consider the state of, or that northwest sector, Haley Andrews is there completing her summer school studies at the University of Portland, and we'll welcome her back in a couple of weeks' time.
beautiful campus, Portland, right on the river.
BC with a step back triple, can't get it though. Here's a 2-0. He is quick as that Anderson. Conrad for a 3.
Boom!
Buries it, cuts the lead to 7.
Yeah.
5 minutes left here.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a timeout if they score again.
Oh, here's that trap. This time PC gets, he gets it out.
Kick it ahead and you got someone open.
Wow, that was just on,
There you go, Betts. Missed the penetration.
yeah. Wow, what, you know, ice water in his veins, is that what they say?
He's, hands up, overrun it. And Harry Froling cleans
Wow,
it up.
that's,
Dangerous pass, especially with Conrad around.
Yeah, and in the context of the game, and I'm not sure if Anderson's a good shooter or not, but, oh, wow, that guy went sliding. And we're going to be,
Oh, that's a tough call, that charge. I'll wear it. I'll definitely cop that.
well,
yeah.
when that charge was occurring, the other guy was still sliding across the floor, number 6. Jeez. Kopsikis? I'm going to go with Kopsikis. He tried to draw a charge of his own. Townsville up 9 here, 4:22. Down. They're up 9 with 4:22 left. Looks like the starters are going to see. They're going to have to see this one out for them.
Anderson, very, very quick. Harry gets a piece of that one. Coming down with Wilshire, out to the bench.
Need some patience here. Get a good shot. Get your big guys in position to generate a second possession.
A lot of help weak side. Move the ball, find the open player, kick out.
Great job. Yep, there it is. It's open. Great shot.
Betts
2
with
big
a
guys on the
three.
rim.
Harry Froling gets
Offensive
the
rebound. Oh, yes. Good decision. Well, let's see.
That's all right, keeps it alive. Unfortunately to Brisbane, that's a good shot by Peter Crawford. They're the ones who took the take. Anderson must have heard me giving him a hard time. It's much like your game. I gave Darcy a hard time.
Oh, you
and
did?
she
Okay,
went-
right.
And she went, right, I'm going to show you.
Well, she
something."
lit it up in
So,
that the last 5 minutes of that fourth quarter. So,
Yeah, so Anderson must have heard me giving him a hard time.
and
he's
we don't
done
mean to
right.
be completely unbiased, but we probably prefer Townsville to win here. So, if you could sort of do something to negate whatever you just helped Anderson with, then you know that would help us out.
He's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
He
Right.
can't miss.
Can't miss. This free throw is a lockdown, is a guarantee. Is that what you're saying? Tried to.
Down to
Hit the
6.
front of the rim. 6-point game. Dangerous territory. JB with the ball. They'll get it back to Wiltshire. Played us some kind of ball screen here. Nope. And they get it to PC in the corner. Brisbane's still really aggressive in this zone. Oh, they've lost PC though. Oh, he'll take a long 2 instead. Oh, PC buries the long 2.
Harry Froling in the paint. Conrad misses on the
Great decision there from Ethan Betts to sort of pull it back. His point guards have run away from him though, but gets it over the halfway. Just chew some clock here. 10 seconds on the clock. Townsville lead by 8. 2:50 left in the game.
Nice
Oh, they
pass.
find JB inside for the flush. That is a proverbial dagger. They did such a good job in the last 30 seconds. Got a stop, executed some offense, found an easy guy inside for a dunk. 2:44 on the clock, 10-point lead.
Yeah, I know I'm blowing the kid's trumpet a lot, but that's he's so solid with the ball. You know, he comes out, he's made 1 turnover and 1 charge.
Yeah.
The rest of it has been to the rim, getting buckets or distributing to someone. So to throw on top of that, he wears numbers on the chest. He keeps out of foul trouble by keeping his arms up. That kid's getting better and better. And
he's playing in crunch time here with some, an important game with some really experienced veterans who are trusting him.
Yeah.
Like I said, Josh Wiltshire is running away from him. Josh is probably trusting him to be able to make a good decision here with the ball, gets it over halfway, gets it back into his point guard's hand.
Now with Brisbane playing this collapse, pack it in style, they're going to have to move the ball from side to side quickly, get some flashes, some dives, get the 2 bigs inside. For my likes, Harry Froling being outside a little too much.
Yep.
Like to see him in a bit more. Peter Crawford looking after the ball a bit. This thing turns back into a 15 to 20 point game.
Yeah. It's got to start with a stop here for Townsville, though. So at the pace that we've spoken about Capitals being happy to play with, that a 10-point lead with 2:45, depending on how well Townsville can execute when they get the ball in hand, could be quickly erased.
Crawford has a job on Conrad, who's going to now pick and get to the bucket.
Oh.
I do not know how Wilson was left so open.
Yeah, well, I reckon there's a lack of communication there between Betsy and Harry in terms of who was going to cover that shooter. That cuts the lead to 8. So well executed coming out of that timeout from Brisbane. Take your time here, Townsville.
As soon as anyone penetrates, they all collapse into that paint. If you've got your head up, you can find a shooter on the perimeter.
Number 11's doing a great job. Oh, Harry inside, kisses it off the glass, uses a solid 22 seconds of that shot clock.
And again, Wiltshire was good there because he's penetrated, but instead of forcing it, he's found the next man. So
yeah.
Credit to him.
Quick shot from Caps there, doesn't come off. Townsville have the ball back. They walk it over with no, they don't. No, they do turn it over.
Yeah, the handoff did not work between Wiltshire and Froling.
No, hit him right in the chest and bounced out of bounds. Carter had missed the triple, and it was an opportunity for Townsville to use more clock. That time, left-hander makes it.
Harry Froling decides he's going to bring it up, kicks it off his feet. Comes off Wilson's feet.
Tarrant doesn't agree, suggesting it wasn't played off the foot. I'm not sure.
And again, watching Harry come up against 2 and 3 guys, I'd rather look long and kick that thing over the top. 7-point lead with 1 minute 18 to go, and the Tarrants will call a timeout.
Yeah.
Good opportunity here.
Mick,
for,
Jeff, one of the two, I'm not sure.
Jeff is the head coach with the glasses, mate.
Oh, he's taking his glasses off. Now I don't know which one is which.
Okay, and this will be a good opportunity for Rod to gather the troops. Now, again, trapping. Let's not dribble through it. Let's pass it.
Yeah,
Let's get that thing down the floor, run it. Let's find some post hits.
Well, that was the advantage early on when they were breaking the press, when they had Harry as a secondary ball handler who inbounded the ball. When he got trapped by some little fellas, he could see clearly over it. There was plenty of options for him, and they got it organized. So I would assume that they'd want to continue to exploit that opportunity for them of having Harry guarded by two guys under 6'4".
Now, on the flip side, I want a hand on every three-point shooter, and I do not want to foul if someone's going to the rim. No and ones, no. Get rid of all this three-point opportunities. Stuff. If they're going to score, make it a 2.
Well, Brisbane's only on 2 fouls here, though. Yeah. So I mean, they can be really aggressive here. They've got 2 fouls to give before Townsville's in the bonus. They've got a 7-point margin to make up.
If you are going to foul, make them earn it. And I'm not talking Philippines.
Sure.
Talking,
Yeah.
Don't let them
Yeah.
Now, Betts is awake. You've got Peter Crawford down there with no one on him. Not looking up.
See, there's that confidence. They've thrown it back to Betsy off the left hand. That's just as I give him some praise.
And I said he's only had 2 turnovers, so that hurts.
It's a 5-point game here, 1:05 left. Wiltshire this time.
Too much dribbling against this press. We need to kick it ahead and look up the floor. Move it. That should be over to Betts.
10 seconds here on the shot clock, 50 on the game clock. Townsville stagnated a bit. Oh, Betsy heads to the line. They're going to say he was fouled.
And again, on that penetration, instead of watching Harry out on the swing, I'd like to see him on the rim. Baker's on the other side. I'd want one shooter in Crawford out here. And Wiltshire back on safety. Unfortunately, Betts didn't make that. But again, big this time in around the rim where I want you.
That was an interesting timeout. So Tarrant wants a timeout. He's down 5. Townsville are going to shoot 2 free throws here. So that's his last timeout. He had the opportunity to take that timeout after they, potentially make that and just keep himself up, something up his sleeve. But he's willing to let it ride. So these are his final instructions. 46 seconds left. Brisbane trail by 5.
Certainly emotional in there. He's geeing his guys up, and they've worked hard. But they're in a far better situation than I give them credit for. I wouldn't even put them in the league, but they're scrappy and they're working, and obviously getting what they want out of that team.
Well, they've done a really good job. I mean, we talked. It had blown out to 20, hadn't it? I mean, they've got it back down to 5. Townsville has been on really a bit of the back foot here the last couple of minutes.
Again, that pressure so far up the floor. If you look ahead, there's twice I've seen Peter Crawford open under the rim. We're passing him just from about the halfway. You can throw that pass and it's a layup. No one's seeing that. Young Betsy, not the greatest of shooters, so it'll be very interesting to see if he can nail those. And he does with a flick of the wrist.
Well done. Hold it up, young fella.
Lock and snap, follow that thing straight through. He's got a nice little flick to his side. He has to let go at the right side.
Didn't extend that one, though.
6-point game.
Oh, JB gets beat baseline. Carter can't convert, though. Strong. Throws himself on the floor.
Baker walks away smiling. He wasn't sure whether he was going to get a call against him. He never knows, but he'll.
And goal. Scott, sorry, I was just mouthing what Scott. I was trying to figure out what Scott said, and he said to Zach Carter, "Just go away." Next one will put Townsville in the bonus. Next Caps foul, that is.
Baker has no one. There's a nice pass to Baker. If you throw it long in the corner, absolutely no one guarding him down the floor. I'd put that ball straight over the top to him, and it's all over.
Yep.
And again, I'm not aware of that. They they really are gambling up the floor, and you get two of them and you change that whole press.
And I suppose when you're in that situation as a player, you're looking at it thinking, what's the easy conservative option here? Do I want to gamble by throwing it all the way down the floor? How many players am I not seeing? Who's the fast player that I'm underestimating?
Again, even as a coach or a player, if you look at that guy, the whole defense shifts.
Sure. And I think if JB did a better job of sort of selling himself as being open, Anderson looks like he stepped out of bounds. That's the second time we've seen that call tonight. The mandatory call of the stepping out of bounds on the short corner three.
26 seconds, 8-point lead.
It's all over Red Rover, isn't it? I mean,
Wilshire's dribbling against.
They're going to give it to JB, and he'll finish with a flush here.
That's right, he was wide open down the back of the floor again.
You may have mentioned that. You may have suggested that JB was wide open. Townsville will get the win here as Zach Carter scores inside, but not sure what they'll want to do here. Threw it off the Brisbane Caps player that went out of bounds. Oh, he just, I'm not sure if Wiltshire intended to smack. Oh, he did. Yeah, and that's an unsportsmanlike foul against Josh Wiltshire, who hit Zach Carter in the stomach.
That's not a clever play, unfortunately.
They've sort of been going back and forth, and Zach Carter did a good job of generating possession here for Caps, who are desperate need of possession here. They trail by 8. Misses the first one. Makes the second.
Again, not a play you want from your guard.
No, that's right. It sort of got sucked into that one. Tim Conrad airballs the 3. Anderson picks it up. Betts with the steal, and he's fouled. And due to the bonus situation, they'll send Townsville to the free throw line here. Zach Carter fouls out.
1 second ago, the score is 87-80. Pretty scrappy game tonight.
Yeah.
My favourites for the night, without doubt, Betts.
Yep.
Love the way he's hustled all game. Harry Frolling's had a reasonable game.
And Harry's stat line is pretty impressive. 24 points from 19 shots, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers. So statistically, he's had a great game. Peter Crawford's on 14 points. Justin Baker missed 1 shot all game. 8 of 9, 17 points, 12 rebounds. So the studs stood up when they were needed.
I was just going to say, he's been in all the right places. He's cleaned up some boards and kept his composure. Again, for Brisbane, if it wasn't for Conrad, doing all the scoring, they'd have been in trouble. But I will also compliment them and saying their defense is what kept them in it, because I guess if you haven't got the guys to back you up, you better do something special. And tonight, they got close.
Yeah. Well, Townsville did just enough to get the win. They're still in contention for a top 2 spot. They probably need Mackay to drop 1 to get first overall, but they did what needed to be done against a Brisbane team that was in danger of losing by 20 or more, and it scrapped back and got back into it, and will have another game tomorrow. So, credit to the Heat. They get the rest of the weekend off. They'll get Sunshine Coast Phoenix here next Friday night, which I'm led to believe is a very winnable game for Townsville. So, depending on what happens with Mackay against Ipswich and Mackay against Southwest, they could finish second. They could finish first if the result goes their way.
Yeah, for me, Townsville will have to go away and look at that press. That press certainly gave them a bit of grief. So get that studied and fix it up. So if you need it in the finals from anyone, you're well and truly ready. So that's about it from my end.
Yep.
Mike, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure working with you again, Shane.
Chatting through the game, and again, 89-80. And I'll give the final word to Mike as I sign off.
Yeah, well, we'll see everyone back here next Friday night as we host the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. So thanks for tuning in.
Have a great week.